This clip will describe the power supply component of your computer and explain how to replace it. What is a power supply? We can look at the information on this wiki page for information. At the top of the page, there's a video and a couple of pictures of a computer supply, one without the cover on it. We can then read about the function of a power supply, which, as one of the most important components of your computer, supplies power to your computer by converting the 100 to 120 volts from the wall to the lower voltage DC power that's usable by the internal components of your computer. The main property of computer power supplies is its power rating, which is rated based on their maximum power output. So, how many watts of power do you need for your computer? Well, it depends on how many and what components you use. A basic home computer will only need about 300 watts, whereas a high-end gaming computer may need up to 1300 watts. When you replace your power supply, you need to make sure that the replacement power supply has a rating equal to or greater than the watts needed by all the components. This is because a power supply should not be loaded to 100% of its capacity. If you're wondering how much power individual components require, you can refer to the table on this wiki page. One other section I'll point out on the wiki page is this section about interface. Power supplies connect to the computer through a use of a variety of cables. They're described here in this section. So, if you have a need to replace your power supply, if it either stops working or if you need to upgrade the power, you'll follow the following steps. Before starting, make sure the computer is turned off and unplugged from the wall. If you have any anti-static guards, such as this anti-static wrist strap, it's wise to use them to avoid unexpected shocks that could harm the components inside your computer. So, once you're ready, first you need to remove the cover from your computer using the release buttons on each side of the cover. You push these in, then as you slide the computer cover forward, you can release the buttons and lift the cover up and off the unit. Once you have removed the cover, you'll see the inside of your computer, and it will look something like this. The power supply is here in the corner. Let's look to see how to remove it. First, you'll need to rotate the chassis assembly up so that it looks like this. You then need to lift up the expansion card cage up and out of the chassis. With the expansion card cage and the chassis assembly out of the way, you can now rotate the power supply upright so it looks like this. At this point, you can disconnect all power supply cables from the drives. That one, and that one. And also from the motherboard, which is down here. Make sure that before you disconnect these cables, you note where they came from so you'll know where to hook the new cables back in. Now the only thing that's left is to remove the screw that attaches the power supply to the chassis that it pivots on. And then you can slide the back of the power supply towards the right and lift the power supply out. To put the new power supply in, you follow all of these steps in reverse. I hope this clip has been helpful to you in understanding more about your computer power supply.